Hey guys, Nat from Tentworld Prospect here, just covering how to replace your broken fiberglass tent poles. So when you come into the shop, we'll actually have a range of tent poles in different diameters. So you need to bring in your broken tent pole so we can actually match up that diameter, alright? So we've got several, going all the way from your 6.9 to your 12.5 mil. Alright, so there's a fair few, and they're all fairly long, you might notice. So the reason that they are that long is so that when you bring your pole in and you match up the right diameter, when you take it home you can then measure it up against your existing poles and cut it. Now I just warn you, when you do cut it and you're dealing with your broken fiberglass poles, please wear some gloves, be they latex or something, to protect your hands from getting fiberglass splinters. They're really nasty and they're really hard to find. Alright, once you've cut that to your right diameter, then you can actually start feeding through your bungee cord. Now we've done this a little bit later on and I'll show you, alright? Cheers. Just going to show you how to rethread your tent poles if one happens to break or the shock cord breaks on you. Now if you just come up close, I'll come up close, I'll show you. I fed through the pole which has the ferrule on the end, okay? This is going to make it easier later on to feed on all the other poles. I'll show you why. Make sure you keep hold of the little end here because you want to just tie a little wee knot, alright? 1, 2, doesn't have to be fancy, just to make sure it doesn't feed back through when you happen to pull it through that hole, alright? Just going to push it through here a little bit. Now, when we actually get through to the feeding end stage, you notice I can't do ferrule to ferrule, and you never want to feed it through this way because that's the hardest way to feed it through, which is why I said get the pole with that ferrule end. What you're going to do is feed the elastic cord through this. So it's pretty easy from now on, you just feed it through and feed it through. Alright guys, so this is why we started feeding through with the ferrule end at the end, so we can easily feed through the pole without the ferrule end. So we're just finishing up here, so all you want to do is feed through that cord, and I've cut a little bit extra so it makes it easier at the end to feed it all through. If it does get stuck on the inside, just melt the end of the lighter, it makes for smooth sailing. It's just going to pop out the end there. Alright, so now what we're going to do is just going to feed it all through, click it all together, so it's connected. We're just going to pull through a little bit extra to make sure that it's nice and strong. So this is pretty loose at the moment, I'm just going to pull through yay much, put a knot in it. Now before I cut this end, I'm going to let that knot go in, and we're just going to pack this up and make sure it's got the right tension before we make that cut, and that way, if we need to, we can always add a bit more bungee. No, that's beautiful. Alright guys, that's how you feed through a new bungee.